Hi, I'm Richard. We're at the Open Air Blues Festival in Brezoi. It's the last day and I'm very tired. And with me is DK Harrell, stop laughing, from he is Louisiana's new bluesman.
Yes. Thank you for
Your
having
name
me.
is DeKieran Harrell, and DeKieran is an Irish name meaning little dark one, is that true?
Yes, sir. My mother had a baby book,
Oh.
and she was looking at baby boy names, and she wanted to make my name unique, so she put the D apostrophe. And then, of course, I found out years later, because I used to didn't like my name. I found out years later that in Hebrew it stands for on top of the mountain of God as well. And then my grandfather gave me the nickname DK because he was named initials. His name was C.H. Jackson.
That's a great story. Um, is it true that you were singing along to B.B. King when you were 2 years old?
It's actually how I started talking. My family really thought I was going to be mute because I didn't make the stereotypical common baby
Mama,
noises.
Dada.
Yeah, I didn't do that. I didn't even say milk. So they became very concerned. And one day my grandfather gave my mother a CD, and I was in the car seat, and she heard a little voice singing in the background and got excited and almost wrecked the car because I was finally talking. So that's literally how I started talking, was B.B. King's The Thrill Is Gone.
You played Lucille, B.B. King's guitar at the B.B. King Museum in Indianola, Mississippi. How did you feel? How was the experience?
You know, for that to be my ever first paying gig, being asked to play there, it was very overwhelming. I actually remember holding Lucille before I went on stage to play her, and I cried a little bit because I thought about how much love I have for BB, and of course, it's all the hardships I went through as a young man, bullying, problems at home, things of that nature. So it just really felt like I was destined to do it.
Your new album is called Talking Heavy.
Yes, sir.
Does the album title have anything to do with the Back to the Future quote, "That's heavy"?
Yes, it does. It has a lot to do with it. I've always been a fan of Back to the Future since I was a kid, and I always thought to myself that Michael J. Fox or Marty McFly, every time he got some news from Doc, Doc Brown, he would say, "Oh, that's heavy, Doc." And I always found that interesting because nobody says that anymore. No one says that's heavy, or they'll say, "Oh, that's too bad," or "Man, that sounds serious," So I decided to go, right, talking heavy, make it serious.
Mm-hmm. And on No Thanks to You, you cried in the studio, which is rare. And it's rare for artists to share that in interviews. You had a complicated relationship with your father. Did it frighten you to be so honest?
No, because I've always been the type of person who I kind of wear my heart on my sleeve, and you're always gonna know how I feel, and I feel like that's not a bad thing because with expressing your feelings comes honesty, and of course truth hurts, but the truth also sets you free. So when Kid Anderson and I wrote this song together, after he heard the history of my father being an alcoholic and very negative, about my well-being and etc., he displayed how I felt to the T, and I tell people all the time, the song is not out of a place of hatred. It's out of the place that as a parent and even as a friend, you have to be careful how you treat people because you never know who that person's going to end up being or becoming in life, and you may need them one day. And I feel like that with myself, I feel like my father should be more proud of me because I didn't have a life like him or my older brother who, they went to jail for drugs and, reckless endangerment, things of that nature. And I've always been a good noodle, as we say back home. So I've always tried to be a good, positive person.
You've said that storytelling is about the small details that make music click.
Yes.
What's a small detail in Talkin' Heavy that you believe carries its emotional weight?
Well, the album, songs like No Thanks to You, I think is one of the biggest ones because I feel like in some shape or form, many of us, if not all of us, have been in that situation where someone has doubted us, doubted our dreams or rejected us because we were just being ourselves. And that's a harsh reality for many to accept. And what makes it even more harsh is that the people who are doing us wrong have a hard time accepting that they actually did something wrong. And they try to sometimes come back and, heal the wound, but the scar is always going to be there. But also songs like Talking Heavy, the title track song, of course, people know what's going on in the world, wars, politics, the price of food going up. And there's a line that says, brothers killing their brothers, and it's true. I've seen so many young men, especially where I come from in Louisiana, who have killed their fellow man over silly things, over a lady, over money, over drugs, and it's really sad.
Yeah. We have to make the world a better place.
Oh, yes.
You've tried multiple guitars on the album. I have a list here. The Fender Stratocaster, the Telecaster, the Gibson Barney Castle, Gibson 175, Gibson 125. Have you ever chosen the guitar based on how it makes you feel rather than how it sounds?
Actually, it's a little bit of both. I can hear the music and I'll go, man, this type of guitar sound would sound great on that. So, for example, with Good Man, which was the song written by Jim Pugh, good friend of mine, gave him a start. Jim Pugh wrote Good Man, and it has this very 1960s Wilson Pickett type of sound. And so, of course, at that time, almost every guitarist and almost every R&B, funk and R&B band had a Fender Stratocaster rhythm guitar player. And so that's what we chose for that. As for the Barney Kessel, we used that one on Into the Room, which we were trying to mix Bobby Blue Bland's Soul of a Man with Mel Brown's tone of guitar playing with Jackie DeShannon's Every Time You Walk Into the Room. So we did a mixture of two different genres, two different cultures, and made it all one.
Is this your first time in Romania?
Yes, it is my first time in Romania. I'm very excited because I hear all the history about Dracula. So I've always been fascinated with vampires and things of that nature, so I gotta be honest with you. We actually have plans to go and visit the Dracula castle.
Okay, that's nice. What else do you have on the festival here in Brezoi?
We just arrived and we feel good about it. I've heard so many reputable things about this festival. Jonathan Boogie Long, who's a Baton Rouge native, he was here last year and he said it was good. And John Namath messaged me today and said, man, this is a good festival, you're gonna like it. So I think the vibe is gonna be out of this world.
What time do you play tonight?
I believe we play at 8:40, 8:45, and we finish at about 10 o'clock.
About 3 hours, so I should let you go back to the hotel and rest.
Yes.
And if you're close, you can still catch him at the Open Air Blues Festival in Brezoi. And thank you for watching these interviews. And there's one more at 9:30. Around 9:30, I'll be interviewing Orianthi. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.